All right, all right, all right. It's 9 a.m. on the dot. Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day. We've survived the first part of the week. Yeah. Today's the last day of my free classes, but I've got a special surprise for you. If you go onto my YouTube channel and you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and then you go to either my Facebook page or my website, wanderinggoddess.com, and leave a little review, you'll get another week of free classes. How awesome is that? You're only going to know that if you go check out my YouTube channel. Cool. So let's get started. We're going to begin today at child's pose. Keep the knees together for this one. Sit back onto your heels. Begin to hinge forward at the hips. Walk your hands forward and just relax your forehead onto the mat here. Taking a second to connect with the breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose with that slight constriction in the back of the throat. Begin to notice how you've arrived on the mat today. Maybe scanning through the body. If there's any areas of discomfort or tightness that you might feel, start to breathe fresh oxygen into those areas. Go ahead and bend your elbows, make prayer hands, and rest those prayer hands between your shoulder blades. Once you've rested your hands between your shoulder blades, begin to walk those elbows a little farther forward, just creating some more space up there in the shoulders. Getting a nice stretch going on up through there. Go ahead and release the hands back down to the mat. And on the next inhale, push yourself back up to a tabletop. Cross your ankles behind you and then come to sit onto your glutes. We're in the center of our mat here. Ground down through both of your sit bones. Sit up nice and tall. Take a big deep breath in and reach real high. And lengthen the side body. As you exhale, cactus your arms, angel your wings, lead with your chest. Get a nice opening here in the collarbones. Maybe a slight back bend here. Inhale, bring the arms back up. Exhale, angel wings. Inhale the arms back up to the sky. Exhale, begin to twist open to the left side. The left arm comes behind you. The right hand goes onto your knee. Your left hand's flat on the mat and your back is nice and long. The gaze comes up over that left shoulder. As you release, bring both arms back up to the sky. Again, reaching tall. Begin to twist open to the right. The left hand comes onto the knee. The right hand's flat on the mat behind you. Your gaze goes back. Inhale, both arms up to the sky. Reach tall again. As you exhale, this time hinge forward at the hips. Bring the hands to the mat and just relax your head and neck down. Let everything be soft here. Slowly begin to drag your hands up onto the mat, coming back to your easy seat, sitting up nice and tall. Plant the hands in front of you on the mat. Push into them nicely. Come onto the knees and back into your tabletop. Tabletop, we're going to drop the belly. Eyes and tail rise high for your cow spine. Exhale, firmly root into the hands. Bring the chin to the chest. Round that spine, get some space going. Maybe turn your head from side to side. Maybe nod your head yes and down, right? Yes and no right here. Inhale, drop the belly, bring the eyes and tail high again. Exhale, come back to your calf. Go ahead and flow through this 3 more times with your own breath. Once you've met me back in your tabletop, I'll know you're ready to move on, but no need to rush. Now we're going to try something a little bit different called Disco Kitty. You're just going to go with the flow, literally. Whatever feels good, maybe rising the hips up, turning the head, maybe sitting back side to one side, coming back up, rotating the hips and coming to sit on the other side. Maybe dropping the belly and letting the eyes and tail rise high again, just rolling around and doing whatever feels good, getting some mobility in the spine. Maybe pushing back to a child's pose and coming back up. Whenever you feel nice and loose and your body's opened up and warm, meet me back in a tabletop and we'll move on. Check your alignment in your tabletop. Make sure that your hands are directly below the shoulders, the hips are above the knees. Begin to slowly walk your hands forward for your puppy dog pose, bringing the chest straight down to the mat. You can rest your forehead on the mat or your chin on the mat, yogi's choice here. Make sure you're not clenching the jaw and you're remembering to breathe. As we inhale, we find more length. As we exhale, we try to go a little bit deeper into the pose. The next inhale, slowly push yourself back up to your tabletop. Inhale the right arm up to the sky, bring the gaze up. As you exhale, thread that right arm underneath of the left. Bring your right cheek to the mat, extend your left arm straight out for your thread the needle. Just melt down into the mat here and let your body be heavy. Slide the left hand in front of your face, press into it and come back up, extending the right arm back up to the sky and the gaze back up. Exhale the right arm back down to the mat to meet the left. Inhale the left arm high, bring the gaze up. Exhale, thread that left arm underneath the right, bring the left cheek to the mat and extend your right arm out. Again, melting down into the mat here. Feeling a nice release in the shoulders. Bring that right hand in front of your face. Firmly press into the ground. Lift yourself up. Extend the left arm up. Exhale, bring it down to meet the right. Tuck the toes, engage your core. Draw the belly button up in towards your spine. And lift your knees about an inch above the mat. Hold steady here for your beast pose. The gaze is slightly forward. The core is engaged. Check in with your breath. Firmly plant your hands here. Hoist the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Pedaling out your knees. Walking your dog. Swaying your hips real big from side to side. Inhale the right leg up. Keep the hips square here. Step it through your two hands. Drop the back foot flat and the knee down. Engage your core and round up to your crescent lunge. Really lean forward into it, scissoring the thighs here. Bring the gaze slightly up. The biceps frame your face and your shoulders are relaxed. Maybe give me a slight back bend. Inhale to find more length. As you exhale, bring the hands down to the mat to frame that front foot. Tuck the toes, lift the back knee. Step back to your downward facing dog. Again, pedaling it out here, checking in with the breath. Check in with your alignment. Bring that left leg high, keeping the hips square. Step it through the two hands. Drop your knee and your foot, engage your core. Round up to your crescent lunge. Really reaching here, getting length in the side body. Leaning into that lunge, maybe giving me a slight back bend. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, bring the hands down to the mat to frame that front foot. Tuck the toes, lift the knee. Step back to your downward facing dog. Pedaling it out here. Bring the right leg back up to the sky. Keep the hips square here. Step it through. Drop your back foot flat to a 40-45 degree angle, engage the core. Round up to your warrior one. Make sure that front knee is directly above the heel. That back foot's flat on the mat. We're grounding down through both feet. The weight's distributed evenly. Relax their biceps down. They're framing the face, but the shoulders are relaxed. Stay deeply bent into that front knee. If it's too much on the back knee, you can lift that back heel up for your crescent lunge, but if you're okay, you can stay right here. Open up to your warrior two. Bring the gaze forward like you just threw a spear. Again, the arms are relaxed down. Flip your front palm. Bring the left hand to the small of the back. High five the back wall for your reverse warrior. Your gaze is up. Bring the right elbow to your right knee. Left arm goes high for your side angle. Option to stay here. Option to extend to 6 and 12, bringing that right arm all the way down to the ground. Bring both hands down to frame that front foot. Pivot all 10 toes to face the small end of the mat. Leave the left hand firmly rooted into the ground. The right arm comes up. Twist open to your revolved angle, side angle. Bring the right hand down to frame that front foot. Step back to your plank pose. Drop your knees for modified chaturanga and lower all the way down to your belly. Inhale to baby cobra. Tops of the feet and the thighs are firmly on the mat. The elbows and shoulders are straight back. Press into the hands. Push up to your plank. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg high. Step it through. Drop the back foot flat. Engage your core. Come back up to your warrior one again. Really reaching tall. Checking your alignment. Settle in here. Get low in that front knee. Spark through your fingertips and open up to warrior two. Your gaze is forward. Relax the shoulders down. Begin to lean into it. Reverse your warrior. High five the back wall. Reverse warrior. Bring that left elbow to your left knee. The right arm goes high. We're in our side angle. Bring the right hand down to the mat. Frame your foot with both hands. Bring all 10 toes to face the small end of the mat and twist open to your revolved side angle. The left arm is high and the gaze is up. Revolve side angle. Bring both hands down to frame that foot. Step back to your plank pose. Lower down, chaturanga all the way to your belly. Inhale to your baby cobra. Push up to plank. Hoist your hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Inhale your heels high. Exhale the knees low. Hop or step to the top of your mat. Halfway lift up. Fold forward. Release down. Drop your hips. Reverse swan dive up. Upward salute. Reaching tall here, finding length in the side body. Bring the hands down to heart center. Take a minute to set an intention or a dedication for your practice this morning. Inhale, upward salute. Exhale, fold forward, release down. Plant your hands, step back to your plank pose. Going through your flow, modifying or intensifying however you need to. This is your practice. Inhale the right leg up. Step it through, drop the back foot, engage the core, come up to your warrior one. Release the arms down by your side. Interlace your fingers. Punch the fists down and back. Lead with your chest. Take a big deep breath in, and as you exhale, hinge forward at the hips, bringing your head and your heart congruent here for humble warrior. Ground down through the feet. Release your arms. Bring them back up to frame the face, coming into your warrior one again. Reaching tall. Warrior one, opening up to warrior two. The gaze is forward. Warrior two, flip that front palm, lean into it, reverse your warrior, high five the back wall. Cartwheel your hands down to the mat, frame that front foot. Go through your flow or meet me in a downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg high. Step it through. Drop the back foot flat, engage your core, coming up to your warrior one again. Checking your alignment, release the hands down by your side. Interlace your fingers. This time take the opposite grip. Whichever hand, pinky was on top, flip it around this time. Lead with the chest. Take a deep breath in, hinge forward at the hips. When our head and our heart are congruent in humble warrior, we're able to speak our truth. Relax the head and neck. Ground down through your feet. Engage your core. Coming back up to your warrior one. Reaching tall. Open it up. Warrior two. Your gaze is forward like you just threw a spear. Reverse your warrior. High five the back wall. Reverse warrior. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the mat. Going through your flow. Modifying or intensifying however you need to. Or meet me in a downward facing dog. Slowly begin to walk your hands back to your feet for your forward fold. Heel toe your feet out to the edges of the mat. Bring the toes off and the heels in. Sit down low in your Malasana squat. Actively pushing the elbows into the knees and the knees into the elbows. The feet are flat here. Envision your spine like a tree trunk and grow tall through the crown of your head. The right arm is reaching around your right knee. The left arm is coming up and over, and you're going to try to clasp your hands behind your back, rotating your gaze up over your left shoulder. Release. Slowly come back to center, bringing the hands into heart center and grounding down through the feet. Finding your stability. Check in with your breath. The left arm's now going to reach around that knee. The right arm comes up and over, interlacing the fingers, rotating your gaze up over that right shoulder if you can. Release. Come back to center, sit up nice and tall, ground down through the feet. Plant both hands on the mat. Begin to straighten your legs, heel toe your feet back together, coming into your forward fold. Take some refreshing breaths here in your forward fold. Slowly begin to walk your hands back out to your downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg high. Step it through. Drop the back foot flat. Engage the core. Come up to warrior one. Open up warrior two. Really reaching for both sides of the room. Straighten that front knee. Turn all 10 toes to face the long end of your mat. Bring them in just a little bit unless you're pregnant or have sciatica. Interlace the fingers behind your back. Punch the fist down towards the ground. Lead with your chest and begin to hinge forward for your wide-legged forward fold with the fingers interlaced. This variation gives us a nice opening in the shoulders, activates the crown chakra, helps us get a bunch of fresh blood and juices flowing into the brain. Release the hands down to the mat. Bend really deeply into your right knee. Flex the toes of your left foot in, coming into your Skandasana. You can keep the hands flat on the mat. Just keep the back long. You have the option to stay here, or you can bring your hands into heart center to go a little bit deeper and really spice it up. Hold steady here. Slowly begin to shift onto the left side. Walking your hands in the center, or if you want a little bit more challenge, keeping them in at the heart center. Yogi's choice. Hold steady here, keeping the back straight and long. Slowly begin to shift back to your right side. One more time, shift to the left. steady. Check in with the breath. Flex the toes of the opposite foot. Come back to center, nice and slow. The hands are on the mat. Bring them to your hips. Flatten your back. Round up nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time. Pivot all your toes to face the top of the mat. Coming into your crescent lunge, bring both arms to frame the face. Release the hands down to heart center. Inhale to find more length. As you exhale, look right, twist right. Lock your elbow and your knee. Firmly press the hands together and the gaze goes over that right shoulder. Release both hands down to frame that front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. Check in with the breath. Maybe pedaling out your knees. Check in with your alignment. Bring that left leg high. Step it through. Drop the back foot flat. Come up to your warrior one again. Checking your alignment here. Open up. Warrior two. Straighten that front knee. Pivot all the 10 toes to face the long end of the mat. Bring them in just slightly. Interlace your fingers again. This time, take the opposite pinky on top, as was before. Lead with the chest. Begin to hinge forward with a nice flat back, bringing the crown of the head parallel to the mat. Again, getting all the benefits of fresh blood to the brain here. Release the hands down to the mat. Bend knee deeply into the left knee this time. Flex the toes of the right foot in, coming into our Skandasana. You can keep the hands on the mat or in the heart center. Slowly begin to shift to the other side. Come back to the left. Over to the right. Release the hands down to the mat if they're in heart center. Slowly shift back to your wide-legged forward fold, coming into center. Bring the hands onto the hips and with a flat back, slowly round back up. Pivot all 10 toes to face the small end of the mat, coming into your crescent lunge again. Find stability in the front foot and release the hands down to heart center. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, look left, twist left. Again, firmly planting the hands into one another and bringing the gaze over that left shoulder. That back leg is strong and engaged. Release both hands down to the mat. Frame that front foot. Step back to your downward facing dog. Bend your knees a whole lot. Look to the top of the mat. Hop to the top of your mat. Forward fold. Take the right foot and step it behind the left. Bring the two pinky toes to touch or as close to it as you can. You want the weight more in the toes here. Inhale, halfway lift up, flatten your back. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips. Relax the head and neck down. And keep your hands right here on the mat for more stability. If you want to try to go a little bit deeper, try to grab for opposite elbows here, letting the head and neck hang. Really trying to work on our balance in this pose. Release the hands down to the mat if you grabbed for opposite elbows. Uncross your feet. Inhale, halfway lift up again to a flat back. Exhale, fold forward, release down. This time the left leg's coming behind the right. The two pinky toes are touching on the opposite side or as close to it as you can. Halfway lift up to a flat back and then fold forward, release down. If you took the clasp on the first side, take the opposite clasp on this side. Again, remembering to keep the weight more in the toes if you can. Hollow out the belly and let your head and neck hang. Release the hands down to the mat if you took the class. Uncross your feet and halfway lift up again to a flat back. Fold forward, release down. Plant your hands, step back to your plank pose and go through your flow one last time. Meeting me in a downward facing dog. Modifying or intensifying however you need to. Downward facing dog. Bring the right leg high. Now bring that right knee to your right wrist. Lay the shin bone down naturally, coming into our pigeon pose. Squaring your hips here to the top of the mat. If you need a block or a bolster for more support underneath the right glute, you can always do that on that side as well. Sit up nice and tall, take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, begin to hinge forward, coming into your sleeping pigeon. You can come down onto your forearms, you can make little pillows with your fists, or you can relax all the way down. Yogi's choice. On the next inhale, push yourself up ever so slightly. Take the left arm, thread it underneath of the right. Bring your left cheek to the mat and extend your right arm straight out, coming back down to the mat. We've got thread the needle arms with our sleeping pigeon legs. Release the right hand in front of your face. Slowly begin to push yourself back up. Both hands on the mat to the top of the mat squared. Firmly root down through the hands. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and slowly push yourself back up into your downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out the knee if it feels good. Last one of the practice. Bring that left leg high. Now the left knee comes to the left wrist. Setting up for our pigeon on the second side. Keep that right leg and knee and foot flat on the mat. We've got one long line from the top of the glute to your toes. Square the hips here. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, begin to hinge forward into your sleeping pigeon. Going down only as far as you feel comfortable today. On the next inhale, slowly push yourself back up, just ever so slightly. This time we're bringing the right arm underneath of the left, threading our needle. The right cheek comes to the mat and the left arm extends out. Slowly push yourself back up. Push into the hands, lift the toe, tuck the toes, lift the knee, and just come into tabletop this time. No need to go all the way back up to your downward facing dog. Walk your hands out in front of you about 4 or 5 inches. Step the right foot to the outside of the right pinky. We've got a little bit of a wider stance here. Option to stay right here on the hands. Option to come down onto your forearms to go a little bit deeper into this pose. Maybe letting the head and neck hang. Make sure you're not clenching the jaw. And you're actively trying to pull that right knee towards the side of your torso and your shoulder. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. 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 Lift the back Go ahead and drop that back knee, untuck the toes. If you're down on your forearms, come back up onto your hands. Firmly root down through the hands and begin to slightly tilt your hips back as you lift your right foot up and come back into your tabletop nice and slow. Good. Walk those hands back out in front of you another 4 or 5 inches. This time the left foot's coming outside that left pinky. That wider stance is going on here. Again, you have the option to stay on your hands. If you want to go deeper, come down onto the forearms. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Go ahead and drop the knee, untuck the toes. Push back up onto your hands and slowly hinge back into your tabletop position. Cross your ankles, sit back onto your glutes. Bring the feet out in front of you. Bend the knees and scoot the glutes as close to the sit bones as you can, rolling all the way down onto your back. Draw both knees up and in towards your armpits. Grab for the bottoms of your feet. Simultaneously push and pull on the feet as you flatten your back into the mat here for your happy baby. If it feels good, maybe rock back and forth from side to side, massaging the muscles of the spine. Draw both knees in towards your chest. Bring the chin in. Bring the forehead to the knees. Squeeze everything in. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. When we squeeze, we wring out the internal organs, and we're also giving them a nice massage here. Take one more really big, deep breath in. And as you exhale, release everything out. Bring the heels to come together. Let your toes fall wide. Walk the shoulders down away from your ears. Bring your palms to face up. Close your eyes. Let your face become still and soft. Relax the jaw. Relax the shoulders. Feel your arms fall heavy by your side. Begin to take note of the rise and the fall of the belly. With every exhale, feel yourself falling deeper into relaxation. Feel your hips sinking into the ground. Relax your thighs. Relax the knees, the shins. Feel your feet floating heavy towards the earth. For the next few minutes, just let your mind and body be still. Wherever your attention may have drifted, bring it back to your breath, to the rise and the fall of the belly. Be wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, and turning your head from left to right, bringing awareness back into your body. Reach overhead. Give me one big morning stretch from fingertips to toes, really feeling long all the way down the whole body. Whenever it feels good, rolling onto the fetal side of your choice, using your arms as a pillow. Smile because you gave yourself this time today. Whenever you're ready, using your hands to push yourself back up, coming back up to an easy seat. Bringing the hands into heart center. Namaste means that the light in me honors the light in you. Thank you for letting me guide you through your moving meditation today. Namaste.